This is going to be the first in an ongoing series of drawing critiques. A lot of you sent in your pictures and they're just beautiful. And I wanted to pick out a good cross-section in several different categories that we can go ahead and apply the 5-pencil method to. And everything I talk about will be in the context of the 5-pencil method. And I'm trying to help you understand how you can possibly make your pictures more realistic, have more depth and contour, and come alive, yet each one of these pictures could stand by itself. They're all great at their level and what they are trying to convey, and I'm just really excited. Let's go ahead and see what we can do to give you a few suggestions as how you can go ahead and maybe make them even more effective than what they are already. Okay, we'll designate this first one in a hair series. That's the primary thing that I think that I will talk about because it's a very, very common situation, and I think this picture will lend itself to having me show you a couple things because it is so well done. It reads very well. There's some things that are just excellent about it. We're looking at it in the context of the 5-pencil method, and so that's what I'm going to try to help you with. As we look at the source and any head of hair, you will notice that it isn't very abrupt along the edge. You notice the difference between that and especially the temples. But the temples are very feathered in. Instead of doing this, because you're thinking about the other end, you need to be able to get it down to where you can taper on, and also in concentrating often you'll end up by having something that's very structured and everything's very parallel. So there's nothing wrong with having a little bit of variance in the direction because it's just the way it happens. I don't want to come in here and decide what my hairline is and end up with a line like this that I'm going to have to now put my tapers in because this is going to have a tendency to show through. This can also happen with a tone. If I were, and I do, you'll see when we work out the portraits, I want to put my value in here first. I want to have all this before I ever start the hair. And as I do that and I decide, well, that's far enough, I'll just stop. This can also present a problem because now you're going to have a tonal shift when you come to the end of that and now you start your hair. You're going to see that abrupt ending. So this is one reason why on the sphere and a number of the exercises, get used to fading it away. If you end up by coming out here and you fade it into where the hair will go, you'll eliminate that sudden end and make it much easier to have a transition. But you can see how this would be far more forgiving for me to put hair in here and not have to worry about having something show through like this or a sudden edge, to the value. So when I'm sketching, I like to keep an open stroke even when I'm sketching and where I'm going to go, so I'm aware of the direction of the hair. Okay, now again, I'm not going to try and do this real exact, but what I want to try to show you is this head is turned a little bit this way as well. So there are going to be a couple places where I can have a clean edge because this is really going around and out of my sight. And I can create a little bit of a buffer zone this way and allow me something to pull out of. Now, what I want to show you is that I want to notice where the highlight is. The highlight is down here. On the actual drawing, I don't think it was really, I think this is quite well done. It's not bad at all. But I think that we could have a little more of an apex to our curve, and I'm always searching for the overall apex so that I have contour to the hair. So let's go ahead and pull out of this buffer zone I have with my 2B pencil now. you'll realize that sometimes you're going to have to go ahead and reverse the direction. So basically what I'm doing is I'm telescoping here and I'm pulling back. Now I get to do what I would like to have done on the other side. I'm going to pull towards the apex. And what I'm doing also is I am kind of looping, I don't know, for lack of a better term, I am kind of gathering at the ends my stroke so that I have an edge developing. Instead of coming like this, let's turn it so it best complements my natural, comfortable position. Keep looking back and forth between your source and what you're trying to draw here. And it'll look coarser. Hopefully we want it to be somewhat coarse. We want this to have the spaces for right now. Okay, now let's go ahead and take our brush, and where we're going to utilize this extra lead we put on here because of the 2B. And I can do this without closing the gaps to the point where it becomes smooth. If I have kept the texture, then I can go ahead and brush it like this, gain my continuity, tone down some of the white contrast, and also knock down some of the darkest parts. And it just really helps to eliminate a lot of the work that I might have to do. I don't want to do that on the skin textures, but I will do it on here. This is the only place where I want to create a little more of an edge here. Now again, this is not going to be perfect. I'd have to have the whole head shaped and everything else, but I still want to just kind of give you a little bit of an idea. Didn't put a second bunch of strokes on this side here. Now I'm going to pull out of this. This will help me with my how light works, that even though this looks pretty solid in there, I can still take my hair strands and make sure that they go into the dark as well. Let's go ahead and brush it. This is our second brushing. These are some of the other things that I might do. I would probably pick out a couple places that might even be the lighter places. And I'm going to now go on past and show a recess into the hair. And I don't want to get too incremental with these either. They're just some places where I can go down in between and kind of create some depth. And now let's go ahead and take our eraser, and I'm going to fold this over and make myself a blade. And I will just gently now take out a few of these things that are going a little different direction than the rest of it, because we have some hairs that are kind of waved over the rest of it. You can take your harder pencil then and clean up the edge, as long as you don't put an outline on it.